How's it going, everyone? I am back with another video. This is going to be my conference championship score predictions video. I'm going to go through the two games taking place on Sunday, the two conference championship games, give my score predictions, talk about how I think the games are going to go, all that good stuff. So I will dive straight in here. So the first game, obviously, I'm excited for both of them, but especially this one, considering the fact my team's playing in it. We got the Patriots and the Broncos. Patriots favored by 4.5. That spread has varied a bit. I believe it opened as 4.5, and then I believe it went up to 5.5. Now it's shifted back down a point to the original 4.5 point spread. So some more people betting on the Broncos in this one. I'm going to pick my team. I'm going to pick us 25-17. Now, I will say, well, maybe as the week progressed or has progressed, I feel like a lot more people are kind of taking Denver more seriously, at least Patriot fans. I'm on the Patriot fan base here in the New England area. At first, like many people, when it got announced that Bo Nix was going to be out, which again is awful. I was talking about that in my last video. I released the division round recap video. Check that one out if you're interested. So that sucks. But like most people, when that got announced, I immediately thought, well, that sucks, obviously. But whoever wins New England, Houston is probably going to the Super Bowl. And obviously, we won the game, and now we draw Denver. I believe it actually. Maybe I was just maybe this isn't exactly how it panned out, but I could have sworn I saw some reports saying that Sam Ehlinger, who's I guess is their backup now going into this game, was going to start, but now it's Stidham, former Patriot Jarrett Stidham. So like most people, I thought whoever wins this game is going to go into Denver, beat them, go to the Super Bowl. I would have picked us even if Bo Nix was healthy and was a full go in this game. I'm sure Denver probably would have been favored, probably maybe by 2.5, 3 points, something along those lines is my guess. So yeah, very unfortunate for the Broncos that Nix got hurt. But my point is, as you know, early on I was thinking, all right, well, we really should win the game. And as the week later that night, I was thinking about it more, and I got a bit not so confident, still confident, but not as confident as I originally thought after the high of beating Houston and moving on to the AFC Championship settled down a bit. And as I mentioned earlier, it seems like as the week has progressed, the fans are taking Denver more and more serious. So I am not one of the people that thinks this is going to be a cakewalk. I do think it is a very realistic scenario that Jarrett Stidham just looks like shit, to be honest, and we win fairly comfortably in a blowout. You can say double digits, something like that. I very much think that is a possible scenario. I do not think that is what's going to happen. A couple things about Jarrett Stidham. First of all, actually, by the way, I got to get this out of the way. Narrative wise, my team is going to lose this game either way. If we win, it's going to be, oh, well, you only won because Bo Nix is out. You got lucky. Cakewalk, easy schedule all year, cakewalk to the Super Bowl. That'll be the narrative if we win. If we lose, we're going to get clowned for losing to Jarrett Stidham. So we lose this game either way from the narrative perspective, which is going to be annoying to deal with, but whatever. We'll be advancing to the Super Bowl. So here's how I honestly think Stidham's going to factor in. So a couple things. Stidham, as I mentioned, he's a former Patriot. He obviously didn't play much. His rookie year, Brady, that was his last year in 19. So obviously he didn't really play much. I remember his first snaps besides the preseason. The preseason, I remember he actually looked pretty solid, but he came in and we were up 30-7 against the Jets, and Stidham immediately threw a pick six, and then Brady to come back in the game with like 6 and change left, if I remember right. And 2020, he came in relief of Hoyer. I remember because Hoyer was playing absolutely abominable against the Chiefs. And that was a weird game that got pushed later in the week because of COVID stuff. Hoyer played awful. Stidham came in, he threw a touchdown, nice fade route to N'Keal Harry. Oh, God, N'Keal Harry. What a pick that was. And Then besides that, he didn't really play much for us. And well, he went to the Raiders in 22 with Josh McDaniels. He now this is a positive for Stidham. He was thrown in, well, I guess not thrown in. We knew in advance he was going to start against the 49ers, who in 22, the 49ers had one of the best defenses in football. The Raiders were a mess that year, and Stidham balled out. He nearly pulled off the upset. They lost, but in overtime, but they put up over 30 plus, I believe, against the 49ers, and Stidham balled out. And then the next week, if I remember right, it was against the Chiefs. I think it was a disaster for him and the team. And then obviously he hasn't thrown a pass since 23. He started week 18 against the Raiders. I think he played okay, but they lost that game in a borderline blowout from what I remember. And that was the last pass in the regular season he has attempted. So he hasn't thrown a pass since week 18 of the 2023 season. So that is obviously a red flag, I would say. But Stidham, I mean, he's showing the ability that he's not just some bum, like completely. I mean, he's in the NFL for a reason. Sean Payton, obviously, every coach is going to talk high of their players, but Sean Payton, he's been hyping him up all week. The players have been hyping it up all week. Sean Payton said he's ready to go. He feels Stidham could be a starter for some teams. So my point is, I don't think this is going to be a cakewalk solely because Stidham's starting. I do not think Stidham is going to ball out and throw 300 plus yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks or anything like that. Denver's path to winning this game, which I do think is very possible, is going to be to basically ride the defense, and I just basically make Jarrett Stidham be a game manager per se. Sean Payton, really good offensive coach, obviously. I think he's going to try to make it easy for Jarrett Stidham. He's going to scheme a lot of underneath. Well, first of all, he's going to try to get the run game going, obviously. But as far as passing, I think he's going to try to scheme a lot of underneath stuff, short routes, crossing routes, screens, hitch routes, things like that. Sean Payton is good from a schematic standpoint at just scheming receivers open. That is what we know about Sean Payton. And there's a stat floating around that Sean Payton is a really good, I forget it off the top of my head, but he has a really good record with backup quarterbacks since 2019, I believe is the stat floating around. So I think Sean Payton's going to try to make it easy for Stidham. Just make him hit the throws he should hit, the simple throws, ride the defense, get the run game going, which will alleviate the pass game and the pressure on Stidham. That's going to be how Denver wins the game. If Denver wins this game, I think it's low scoring. It'll be something like Denver 17, Patriots 16, a Denver 19, Patriots 17, something like that. If Denver wins, I think we score below 20. I don't see Denver scoring more than 20 in this game, except what I was saying with the Texans last week. If Denver gets a pick six, they get a punt return, they have really good field positioning from a turnover or a punt or something like that. If we consistently make them drive the length of the field, I do not see Denver scoring more than 20, but who knows? So if Denver wins, I think it's extremely low scoring. I laid out the path. So Stidham, another thing, yes, he hasn't thrown a pass in 3 years, but we don't have film on him. What the hell are we going to prepare for? I don't think Sean Payton's going to drastically change the Denver offense. I'm sure he will a little bit, but could be some preparation issues for us, adjust on the fly, which we're good at. So that's something to monitor. And as I mentioned, Sean Payton, so yeah, you get the no film factor. What are we going to prepare for? Preparation question marks around that situation. Sean Payton just could make it easy, scheme guys open. They could ride the defense. We've had some issues with protection at the postseason. Denver leads the league in sacks. So that, from a schematic standpoint, could be an issue for us. And obviously, the altitude, Denver at home, that crowd's going to be going crazy. There definitely is a path they very well could win the game. And as I mentioned at the start of the video, the line is shifted down a point. So, not drastically, but a decent amount of more people are betting on Denver compared to the start of the week. However, I don't want to overthink it. Yes, I just laid out a bunch of paths that Denver could take to win the game. I don't want to overthink it. Jarrett Stidham, again, former Patriot, respect him. Who knows how he's going to look in this game? I don't think he's going to play abysmal. I don't think he's going to play great. I think it'll just be like a typical game manager type of stat line in this game. I just don't want to overthink it. I don't see how Jarrett Stidham in the Broncos offense, which even with Bo Nix the whole season, everyone's saying it's not a great offense. I don't see how what a lot of people interpret as just an okay offense, not an elite great offense, loses its starting quarterback, has Jarrett Stidham come in, who again hasn't thrown a pass in 3 years, and against a red hot defense in the Patriots, outscores Drake May in this offense. I don't want to overthink it. Our defense has been red hot against a backup quarterback who hasn't thrown a pass in 3 years. I like the way we match up against them, especially if we can get Carlton Davis back. It looks like, I'm not going to knock on wood on my desk here, it looks like we are going to get him back. Matt Collins, that would be big too. Harold Landry, Mike Vrabel announced a bit ago at his press conference he's out, but Harold Landry, I saw, only played 11 snaps against Houston. He's been banged up for a bit anyway. Obviously, it would have been nice to have him, but I don't think it's make or break that we're not going to have him. So I do like the way our offense matches up with Denver. Now, obviously, that stat I mentioned with Denver leading the league in sacks, with the protection issues and the turnover issues, is a bit of a concern. However, I thought we were going to fix that against Houston last week. We obviously didn't really. And that's 2 games in a row where the offense has not been near its regular season production. I think they're going to step up to the plate in this game and return to a form similar of the regular season production, especially if Matt Collins comes back. He's our deep ball guy along with Booty. We've missed him a good amount. He's had a major impact in the season, so if we can get him back, that would be great in this game. Denver's defense is obviously very good. They're a top 5 defense, lead the league in sacks, things like that. But they also can get torched. We saw it last week against Buffalo. They almost allowed 500 yards of offense to the Bills. The only reason they won that game is because they forced the turnovers. Credit to them for that. But they got outplayed by Buffalo in that game, with the exception of the turnovers. I know that's not how it works. You can't say just take away the turnovers, but Buffalo really beat themselves with the turnovers in that game. Not to discredit Denver. They forced the turnovers, except they got a bit fortunate with the one before the half. But Denver also isn't great with forcing turnovers is another thing. And with all the turnovers we've had the past 2 weeks and the fumbles lost, the fumbles that we gained, putting the ball on the ground for a chance at a turnover, you think it would even out a bit. 2 games of sloppy ball. Pause. I did not mean to phrase it like that. 2 games of being loose and sloppy with the football, putting it at risk. I think we're going to return back to normal. And this Denver offense, they actually put up a good stat. And first things first, Kevin Wildes, the Patriots guy in that show. Denver's offense, well, not their offense, Denver's defense has been great against not great quarterbacks. And against some of the better quarterbacks in the league, they get shredded. I would say May is obviously, you can make an argument he's the best quarterback in the league this year. I think he was. I don't think he's going to win MVP, unfortunately, even though I would vote for him. I think it's going to be Stafford. But that's another argument. You can argue May is played like a top 2 quarterback, you can say, and in the league. And our offense, I believe we were second in the league in points scored. So, and again, get Matt Collins back into defense that is kind of torchable. I think pressure could be an issue at times in this game, but I think we're going to try to get the run game going. Honestly, just try to drain the clock, control the game, make Denver play from behind. So I do like the way our offense matches up against Denver. So I think we'll clean up the protection issues and the turnover issues and putting the ball on the ground again. So I do like the way our offense matches up against Denver. I think our defense will play good. The first drive is going to be interesting because our defense in the regular season was not good on its opening drive, and it's been good in the postseason. But last week, it got a bit fortunate with Houston's opening drive. There was just a miss by Stroud and a wide open receiver on a bootleg, and then a wide open drop on 3rd and 7, I believe it was. But Sean Payton, good at scheming up, again, opening drives, offensive game plans, no film on Stidham. So I would not be surprised if Denver, let's say they get the ball to start the game, they go right down the field and score. And it's like, oh boy, we're in trouble. Would not be shocked at that scenario. I could see this game playing out similar to the Tampa game for us. Um, what's another game? Another game. I hit it in the back of my head, blanking here. Could see it playing out like the Tampa game, where we're down early, we don't look good, then we take control. Tampa fought back, we end up holding on. Could see that resulting here. I could see a bunch of scenarios. So again, Denver, I'm not going to be like, oh, obviously guaranteed win would sit him in the lineup. Yes, it's a bit of a boost for us, I would say. Not that that's bold, of course, but Denver very well could win the game. I think if they do, they're just going to have their defense play outstanding, have Jarrett Stidham essentially do what a lot of people wanted Stroud to do not last week and just not blow the game, not turn it over, just hit the simple throws, things like that, just ride your defense. So Denver very well could win this game. I I don't think Vrabel is going to let the impact of Stidham, lessen our preparation or anything like that. I think we're going to be ready to go. I feel good about it, so I'm going to pick us 25-17. And similar to the Houston game, I feel like if we can get to 21 in this game, barring good field positioning or a pick six, their defense scoring, things like that, I think 21 should be enough for us to win. Obviously, the more the better, but I'm going to pick us 25-17 in this one. Go to the Super Bowl. We're going to have to wait and see what happens, though. Okay, so I spent a while on that game. Obviously, my team, so I'm pretty passionate about it. Next game, Rams Seahawks. This is a really tough one. Both of them are, but more so this one. Both these teams, they split the regular season series, one apiece. And the first one, Seattle outplayed the Rams, I would argue, except Darnold kept turning it over, and they still nearly won the game on the field goal at the end. The second game, the Rams outplayed Seattle, I would argue, and they lost. They're up 16 in the fourth quarter, and then it was just pretty much all downhill from there outside of the Puka Nacua touchdown in overtime. The Rams really should have won that game. They certainly feel like, I'm sure. This one's really tough. In Seattle, I mean, it's hard to pick against them with the way they looked last week against the 49ers. I expect them to win that game, but did I expect them to win in blowout fashion, let alone, was it 41-6? No, not at all. That defense looked absolutely insane like they had most of the season. So it's hard to pick against them from that game alone last week. Meanwhile, the Rams have really not looked great the past couple weeks of the season, even dating back to the regular season. They're not playing to their full potential, just kind of playing like a B minus type of game the past couple weeks. So they play like that against the Seattle team. They're probably going to lose the game. So, yes, the Rams made it to this point in the postseason. They beat the Panthers narrowly, and they narrowly beat Chicago. Those are two teams, especially the Panthers, they should beat, and it's going down to the wire. So they're playing a B-minus type of game, so it is hard to pick them. However, I'm going to pick them in this one, 26-23, and my reasoning is because I think what happened in the Thursday game, I think back what happened then. Yes, the Rams lost, but A, as I mentioned, I believe they should have won that game. They blew it. And B, Stafford and company could not be stopped in that game. Even though Seattle won, they went up and down the field. It was a shootout, and that was without Davante Adams. Now, Adams, it looks like he's hurt a bit. He's not 100% healthy, but still having Davante Adams in your lineup is obviously going to be a bit of a boost. And the Rams defense has, again, like the team, been up and down the past couple weeks. They have proved to be Darnold's kryptonite. I don't know what they do, but going back to the wild card game last year with the Vikings and Rams, Darnold, that was a disaster for him. The first game was a disaster for Darnold this year in the regular season, and it was on track to be a disaster until they made the comeback against the Rams. So I don't know what the Rams do, but Darnold, he's got the oblique injury going on. He played fine last week, but he didn't really need to do much considering how the game was going. But I think the Rams offense, I don't think they're going to go up and down the field and, score at will. I think Seattle's defense is going to keep them in it, but I think they're going to have to put up a decent amount of points. And I just trust Stafford in the Rams offense more in a big game situation than I do Darnold and the Seahawks. Charbonnet being injured with a torn ACL, that's a bit of a blow for Seattle, but I don't think it's going to drastically, kill their offensive production or anything like that. So also, another reason I'm picking this game is because my NFC side of the bracket is perfect up to this point, and I had the Rams beating Seattle 26-23 in my bracket prediction, so I'm going to stick with it. My AFC side of the bracket is perfect except for the Bills-Broncos game. I picked Buffalo, then I picked us to beat Buffalo and go to the Super Bowl. So obviously with my score predictions here, my Super Bowl matchup is staying consistent. But I'm not just picking, the results of this game solely from my original bracket prediction, but I do believe the Rams are going to win. Am I confident with that pick? Not too much. I believe Seattle opened as a 3.5-point favorite, something like that, and it's come down to 2.5. That's fair. Home teams usually get 1.5, I want to say. If they're even teams and, they're home. So, Seattle essentially favored by a point, you can say, with the home field advantage factored in roughly. If Seattle does win, I could see their defense. I don't think they'll play as good as they did last week, but I could see their defense playing a really good game, similar to the first matchup between these teams. Could see that. Darnold and company, maybe they found something in that 16-point comeback. They ride it into this game. Rams defense has been kind of shaky, like the team, as I mentioned, so maybe they take advantage there. They present some new things in this game. Could just win the game alone from riding their defense. So they're definitely, obviously, avoiding turnovers with Darnold. I honestly could see their defense playing as well this game to the point where they can just have Darnold manage the game, essentially like they did last week. So could see that. Seattle definitely has a bunch of different ways they could win this game. I see most people, I would say roughly maybe like 65% of people I see in picks videos or in brackets and such and articles and all that good stuff are picking Seattle in this one. And yes, it is hard to pick against Seattle right now, and especially with the way the Rams have been looking. They've been winning, but not looking too great. I'm going to pick the Rams, stick with my original pick here. I'm going to go 26-23 Rams. Could go either way, but I'm going to go with the Rams in this one. Yeah, those are my two score predictions. Obviously, only 2 games. Then we get the Super Bowl. So 3 games left in this season. Hopefully, my team's playing in it. We can only pray. It looks like we're going to get a snow day on a Monday. Not that I'm in school. I work for the Y, so I'm in the childcare business, badly looking for a job at the moment. No offense to the Y, but I need to utilize my master's degree I have that I finished recently. But my point is, hopefully we can get a snow day so I don't have to go to work Monday. And that would be fantastic if they announced it before the game so we could win. Then I could spend that day, celebrating pretty much. We're going to get absolutely battered by a massive snowstorm. It looks like that's going to suck shoveling, but whatever. But yeah, these two games should be really good. Obviously, more so the Rams Seahawks game on paper probably looks more appealing with the Sidham factor. But yeah, should be pretty good. I feel okay. I feel fairly confident with my team, not too confident with the Rams pick. I'm probably like 60-40 on that game. My team in Denver, I'm probably like 65-35. So games really could go either way. Should be pretty good. Hopefully you guys enjoy. I will wrap this video up here. Thank you guys for tuning in. Take it easy, and especially this week, go Pats.